you hear about people doing like the dopamine fasts or whatever, where they'll just completely like unhook from anything.
Interesting.
And you hear, it's actually really interesting because like people will say, oh, time slows down.
Yeah.
Like time seems to really slow down, and you become much more aware of each moment. But then also doing that for a couple of weeks or, you know, whatever, some people are crazy about it.
Sure.
I mean, this is like food and music and visual stimulation. And they're like, yeah. And then you'll listen to like a shitty song on a radio at a pub. Yeah. And it's like you're in, you know, having the greatest religious experience of your life. Interesting. And I'm like, there's a bit of me that understands. I think it's difficult when we're in this world where we're just constantly being fed dopamine. And I mean, this is the, you know, there's a bit of hypocrisy in what I'm saying, because I definitely am, you know, I can get sucked down a YouTube scroll, you know, doom scroll or whatever. And I try to get out of that as much as possible. But when you do get away from it, you're able to engage with stuff on such a deeper level. So, started watching The Wire a couple of weeks ago, and I think we covered this a little in the last episode. And it's like, that was a show that demanded my attention in a way that I wasn't willing to give it when I tried to watch it prior. And now that I've given it my attention, it's just like, it blows me away. It's not a hot take to be like, oh, The Wire's good. Right. like obviously it's but it really, when you give it the proper attention, and I think the proper amount of like dopamine disconnect.
When you're present with it.
Yeah, you're present with it. You're there moment to moment to moment. You're not sitting there watching
not seeing
it.
what it's going to give you.
Yeah, you're not thinking about like, what am I going to do after this? Or like, oh, what's happening here?
Exactly.
You're just there, and that's all that there is. It's amazing. Yeah. And the same with, God, that's what's so good about seeing movies in the theater.
I was just saying, the same thought popped into my head, like,
because we saw Citizen Kane.
It's an immersive experience.
And that was the first time I'd seen it in the theater.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere to go when you're in the theater.
You can't get no phone, you know, no conversation.
And it's not even like if we're watching a movie here, it's not like I'm in my phone or.
No, but you can pause it. You can get up. You can talk to Audrey. You can, you can.
There's just more of a surrounding. Yeah. You're in a dark theater. There
are other things that are accessible, even if you don't access them.
Yeah.
It's just a different state.
Absolutely.
And you're right. I had the same experience with Citizen Kane. I think if I had it on when I was at home, there might have been moments where I checked out. There might have been moments where I was like, I'm kind of having to work hard to like get this. Yeah. Like, I kind of just want to watch somebody flip through a record bin at a thrift store and just not even think about anything.
Yeah.
Because that's like, almost a form of dopamine.
And it absolutely is. Yeah. You know, and I get this thing like, oh man, I kind of just rather listen to like a podcast, or I kind of just rather do.
I want to get in a vibe.
Yeah, I want to have something that's like. Yeah. And I think part of that is what was causing all this dissatisfaction in my life, is just this like comfortably numb to like, you know, little bits of like IV drip dopamine. Wow. Just here's a little, what's the next one? And then you're sitting there and you're being present for the job or whatever, and you're just kind of in the moment, but you're not experiencing anything. Yeah. You're not giving anything your attention properly. No. Nothing. And me personally, like I can only handle so many months of that before it was just like starting to tear my soul apart.
Yep.
And I think it's a great experience watching somebody flip through and then find that one record. And to give context to what we're talking about, you were talking about there's videos where people
they film themselves, they do a little intro, they film themselves going to thrift stores, estate sales, whatever, and they literally run the video. The heart of the video is them quietly flipping through a record bin with like 100 records, and you see what they pull out, what they don't, and you think about, oh, what's that record? Or I would have pulled that one, or oh, they missed that one that's really valuable. It's little dopamine hits, because every time they flip the record, it might be some awesome thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Or if they're flipping through the crappiest records that you see at every thrift store, and all of a sudden there's a Fleetwood Mac record, you're like, "Holy shit!" And yeah, you get this little hit.
Yeah.
And so, like I was saying, you know, it is something that kind of is a little mindless because you're not working to understand it, but you are just at the feed for dopamine going. Yeah. When are they going to give me a little bump here? Ready for a little bump? Oh, Fleetwood Mac. Oh shit.
We saw a meme the other day. It was like two lab mice that escaped from the lab. They're like, you know, I'm glad to be out of that place, but I would love to hit that cocaine button again.
Exactly. That's great.
It had been a golden afternoon, and I remember having the familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the summer and summer.